You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. Okay, this is take 2 on this episode. The first time I recorded this episode, I was hooked up to my Bluetooth in my car and the audio quality was not very good. And in this version, I am dealing with either a head cold or really bad allergies. So I apologize in advance for the lack of audio quality in both regards. But this is a message that I know needs to be shared, and it needs to be shared this week. Because I am seeing this in my communities and amongst the women that I support. And it's this theme of feeling stuck in your business and what to do when your business feels heavy. Because we can come up against these roadblocks in our business and think to ourselves, well, this isn't working. And because it's not working, I must need to burn it to the ground, right? I must need to be taking a step back and I'm doing everything wrong. It's so easy to get caught up in those feelings and those ideas that we are the problem. And what happens with this is we get stuck in a cycle of doing more, right? We get into this more hustle because we want to see the end result, because we are looking for that gratification in our businesses. But ultimately what ends up happening is we end up just feeling burnt out and seeing very little reward, if any at all. And I shared this in the Magnetic Boss Collective, my Facebook group. This community space is getting an update and an overhaul in this season of my business. So if you search branding, design, and intuitive business, you will find this Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. This is for spiritual women entrepreneurs, and I am sharing topics just like this where you can be having this conversation alongside us. So if this episode is resonating with you, I hope you're getting some golden nuggets along the way, but make sure that you're joining the community and sharing your take, sharing your questions so that I can give you my direct feedback. So how do you go from feeling stuck in your business to shifting out of that and having an aligned strategy for moving forward? So I'm going to have you take a moment to ask yourself one powerful question. Before you start posting, before you start promoting or sharing anything in your business this week, I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, does this feel like me? Not does this feel like what my coach would do? Not does this feel like what the industry standards are saying is going to make me successful? But does this feel like me? True to me? If the answer is yes, let's look at how you can amplify that. If the answer is no, then it might be time to pause and pivot. And when I first recorded this episode, and the story that I shared with you in full transparency was the shift that I am making in my business post-launch of the CREATRIX Mastermind. Because my business partner, Jen, and I launched this mastermind with so much excitement and so much power behind the container that we've put together for the women that we're supporting in the mastermind. But we also came to realize that there was something off. And that doesn't mean that the launch wasn't successful. That doesn't mean that we needed to flush things down the toilet and start fresh. What we are doing instead, as we lead into the next season of our business and of this offer, is in the power of refinement, in the power of making the tweaks, in the power of amplifying what already worked really well, because we did have a really successful launch in the sense that we know that we have proof of concept. We had people joining our free challenge, which, side note, you can still join the Align to Six Figures free 5-day challenge. I'll put the link in the show notes for that as well. And so we know that our messaging is right, and we know that our audience is looking for this container. But what we recognized in the feedback that we were getting from people that were interested in joining the mastermind was that the timeline was slightly off, both from a client-customer experience and also for our own commitment to holding the space and being able to lead in this container. So no, we are absolutely not burning it to the ground. However, what we are doing is recognizing the stuck point and pivoting and refining. So if you are in a season of your business where you feel stuck or you're feeling burnt out or frustrated on something, I want to reassure you that that doesn't always mean that you need more content or you need to work harder or you need to push yourself forward. What it means is that when it's time for you to shift, you need to be so deeply yourself, so deeply in alignment with yourself that your dream clients feel it in their bones, that your audience can feel the energy of what you are sharing and what you are talking about, because that is really the driving factor. You will find somebody out there in the world doing exactly what it is that you do. But when it comes to creating a powerful brand, what differentiates you is how you do what you do, because nobody else is exactly like you. Nobody else brings your experience. Nobody else brings your energy. And so when you are feeling these stuck points, the only thing that is going to shift you out of feeling stuck is to be more you. Be more yourself. And this can feel like a cumbersome process, but I promise you that the more you practice at this, the more that you play with this idea of pivoting and refining in your business, the easier it becomes, the more fun it gets to be, because the process then begins to feel like a game, right? You're setting yourself for the challenge. You're setting yourself up for this next evolution and phase in bringing yourself into alignment. So for this week's mini challenge and what I invited the women to do inside of the Facebook group, which is why I invite you in there so that you can really share your own experience with this and have a sounding board in this process. So what I want you to do this week as a fun mini challenge is to pick one place in your business this week that you're going to reflect on. This could be your Instagram bio, it could be your latest offer, it could be the post that you're featuring on your Instagram feed, it could be anything in between. But I want you to look at this one area and ask yourself, is this still aligned with the woman I am becoming? Right? Not the woman that you were 3 months ago, not the woman that you were 5 years ago, but the woman that you are right now and the woman that you are aspiring to be. Because the highest version of yourself, the most aligned version of yourself, is the version of you that is going to call in the success and the fulfillment in your business that you are seeking. So have fun with this challenge. I hope that this episode helped you and served you in some way. If it did, please share the episode, share the podcast, and make sure, again, that you jump into the Facebook group. All of the links that I've mentioned today are in the show notes, and I will be back to share more with you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.